Hazrat Ata Hussain Fani, 1816–1893. Also known as Ata Hussain Gayavi or Haji Ata Hussain Chishti Monami Abulolai, was a famous Sufi sant of the Chista order in South Asia. He was the first Sufi to go in the complete non-Muslim locality of Gaya and spread Islam. He was also a writer, poet, linguist, and orator. Although he never touched money with his hands, he lived an extravagant life. He was known to befriend strangers, especially non-Muslims, was very well liked among his people. There were thousands of converts, both humans and Genie, to Islam that he was responsible for. His aim in life was to serve all human beings on earth and spread the message which the Islamic prophet Muhammad brought. He died as the Ghaus, which is the highest degree of spirituality a Sufi can attain. Of his time. Biography. Ata Hussain Fani Chishti Monami was born in 1816 into a pious family of saints of the Chista order, at the home of his maternal grandfather, known as Kankar Kadriya Manania, Shahmanan-ki Gari, Mogulpura, Patna City, Bihar, India. He was raised by his father Sultan Ahmed Shahid through the age of 10. After the death of his father, his paternal grandfather Ghulam Hussain Danapuri took responsibility for him. He died at the age of 86, just 9 years after being made the successor of the ancestral Kankar. After the death of his grandfather, he was nurtured by his maternal uncle Ala Hazrat Mir Kamruddin Hussain Monami, who completed his worldly studies as well as spiritual teachings and awarded him Khilafat-o Ijazah upon completion. Ancestral history. Hazrat Ata Hussain Fani was born into one of the most famous Sayyid families of Bihar. He was the descendant of Sayyidna Imam Muhammad al-Baqir. After the death of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Jafar al-Sadiq became the Imam of the Muslim community. Another son of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir was Abdullah Shahid. His descendants migrated to Tus in present Iran. After a few generations, one of the descendants migrated to Lahore, Pakistan. Later on, a scholar from the branch of Bakri Sayyids known as Tajuddin Delvi migrated towards India via Ajmer. He became a murid and Khalifa of Moinuddin Chishti at Ajmer. He sent him to Delhi in the company of Qutbuddin Bakhtar Kaki. He later settled in Delhi. His son went to Kalpi, Uttar Pradesh, India to spread Islam. After migrating to various places to spread light of Islam in eastern and northern India, this branch of Sayyid migrated to Danapur in the leadership of Muhammad Bazir, the then Sarjada Nashin of the Kankar Chistiya, which was founded by Tajuddin Delvi. Ancestral lineage. Hazrat Muhammad, Imam Ali al-Murtaza, Imam Hussain al-Sibt, Imam Zain al-Abidin, Imam Muhammad Baqir, Sayyid Abdullah, Sayyid Hashim, Sayyid Muzan, Sayyid Jafar, Sayyid Ali Raza, Sayyid Hussain, Sayyid Ismail, Sayyid Ibrahim, Sayyid Abul Kashim, Sayyid Hassan, Sayyid Abdullah, Sayyid Yusuf, Sayyid Jacob, Sayyid Daud, Sayyid Ishaq, Sayyid Ismail, Sayyid Tajuddin, Sayyid Alaruddin, Sayyid Jamaluddin, Sayyid Muhammad, Sayyid Jalaluddin, Sayyid Taqiyuddin, Sayyid Qutbuddin, Sayyid Sadajahan, Sayyid Hussaini, Sayyid Abdul Bazir, Sayyid Yasin, Sayyid Waliullah, Sayyid Ghulam Hussain, Sayyid Ahmed, Sayyid Ata Hussain Fani. Great ancestors. Many of his ancestors did remarkable work in their lifetime. They contributed a lot to Islam and Sufism. Their shrines are located at various places all over northern and eastern India. Tajuddin Gayavi. He became the disciple of Moinuddin Chishti at Ajmer. After he was awarded with the Ijazah of the Chista order from Moinuddin Chishti, he was sent to Delhi for further spiritual empowerment in the company of Hazrat Qutbuddin Bakhtar Kaki. Later he settled down in Delhi and was, upon his death, buried there. He died in 691 Hijri. When he was awarded the Khilafat Ijazah from Moinuddin Chishti, he was also awarded with the kikar, gown, of his master, which is still preserved in his Kanka at Gaya, Bihar, India. Alaruddin Khalpavi He was the son of Hazrat Tajuddin Gayavi. He became the Murad-o-Khalifa of Fariduddin Ganj Shaka. He was ordered to go to Kalpi, Uttar Pradesh, India and spread Islam there. He is one of the earliest Sufis of Kalpi. Sayyid Muhammad Khalpavi He was the grandson of Alaruddin Khalpavi. He became the Murad-o-Khalifa of Naziruddin Muhammad Chiragi Delhi, until the life of the Big Five of Chishti order in India. The Sufis of Chishti order used to become the Murad of the leader of the order if the communication was possible even once in life. He died in 812 Hijri. He was awarded with the cap, Kula, of his master, which is still preserved in the Kankwa shrine. Another Sufi of the same name lived in the same town, but he was the Murad-o-Khalifa of Sayyidina Abulolai Akbar Abadi. He died in 1071 Hijri. Badshah Kepir His original name was Taqiyuddin Urf Budde. He was the grandson of Sayyid Muhammad Khalpavi and the Pir, spiritual master, of the king, Daud Shah. The capital of that kingdom was Hajipur, presently a small town near Patna, Bihar, India. He invited him to his capital where his shrine exists today and is famous as the Shrine of Badshah Kepir, Master of the King. Sayyid Qutbuddin He was the son of Taqiyuddin. He migrated to Patna in the locality now known as Kakari. His family lived there for 3 generations. Sayyid Shah Muhammad Bazir He migrated to a hub of Sufis in Danapur, a small town near Patna. The ancestral Nasiriya branch of the Chishti order came to an end with this great Sufi who lived for 116 years and died in 1126 of the Islamic calendar. Sayyid al-Majzubin He was the son of Hazrat Sayyid Shah Muhammad Bazir. His original name was Sayyid Shah Muhammad Yasin. He was the Murad-o-Khalifa of his maternal grandfather Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi Danapuri and was also his spiritual successor. He was Bait in the Chistiya Sarajia Faridiya order, but the chain did not continue after him. Sayyid al-Wasilin He was born in 1268 of the Islamic calendar. As he was born in Muharram, he was given the name Ghulam-e Hussain. He was the grandson of Sayyid al-Majzuban and the grandfather of Shari'ata. He became the Murad-o-Khalifa of Hazrat Makdum Munampak. He also got Khilafat Ijazah from few other Sufis of that time. He became very famous as one of the early Sufis of the Monami order. He had 4 sons who carried his lineage forward. He made Shari'ata his spiritual successor and the successor of the ancestral Kankwa of Tajuddin Delvari in front of all his companions, disciples, Khalifas and family members. He also had many Khalifas all over Bihar. He died at the age of 86 and his shrine is present in Danapur. Final settlement. Hazrat Ata Hussain Fani walked to the Mecca at Hajj when he was 28. The journey took a total of 5 years. He was finally ordered by the Muhammad spiritually to go back to India and spread the light of Islam and accept the responsibility as a Qutub of Gaya, where he lived, died and was buried. He reached Gaya in 1850. He arrived at the house of the district judge of Gaya, Sayyid Ashraf Hussain Sadras Sudor, who had already been shown the face of Shari'ata in dreams and was told to welcome him wholeheartedly. Spiritual history. He had a jizya of approximately 70 ways of all the major orders of the world, including all the famous orders of Eastern India. In fact, he had order of the 14 major orders leading to Muhammad by all the major branches of the respective orders. He was originally based in the Chisti Khizriya Monami order and completed his suluk in Abulolai order from his uncle Hazrat Saeed Shah Kamruddin Monami. He also had great spiritual connections with Hazrat Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani, Hazrat Baba Fariduddin Ganj Shaka, Nizamuddin Auliya and Hazrat Shafuddin Yahya Amaneri. Spiritual lineage: Muhammad, Imam Ali al-Murtaza, Hassan Basri, Abdul Wahid bin Zayed, Fuzail bin Iyad, Ibrahim bin Adam, Huzaifa al-Marashi, Abu Hubaira Basri, Mumshad Dinwari, Abu Ishaq Shami, Abu Ahmad Abdal, Abu Muhammad, Nasruddin Abu Yusuf, Qutbuddin Mordud, Haji Sharif Zandani, Usman Haruni, Moinuddin Chishti, Qutbuddin Bakhtar Kaki, Saeed Khiz Rumi, Najmuddin Qalandar, Qutbuddin Benedi, Saeed Fazlullah, Mahmud Bahari, Nasiruddin Bahari, Taqiyuddin Darvesh, Nizamuddin Qutbi, Saeed Alullah, Saeed Jafar, Saeed Khaliluddin, Saeed Muhammad Munam, Saeed Ghulam Hussain, Saeed Ata Hussain. Titles given. The most important of all the titles given to him is Abdul Razak by Muhammad when he went to Medina and was produced in front of Muhammad's court. Other titles are as follows: Shari'ata, Qutbe Gaya, Murshid Eaala, Sakariyata, Hazrat Fani. Descendants. Shari'ata was married to a descendant of Makdumi Jahan Saeed Shafuddin Yahya Amaneri of Bihar Sharif. He had only 3 children, 1 son and 2 daughters, out of which only 2 carried the lineage forward. One of his daughters did not have any children. His son is remembered as Saeed Shah Ghulam Qutbuddin Chishti. All of his grandsons and great-grandsons were great Sufis of their time. It is seen as enormous blessings from Muhammad that there are great Sufis in each generation of his descendants. The succession of the Sajada of his ancestral Kankar has always been in his son's descendants. Only his son had the authority to offer the duties of the Sajada Nation in his absence. Shah Qutbuddin Chishti was his son. When he died, his son became the successor of Shari'ata, and since then the Sajada Nation remained with the descendants of Shah Qutbuddin. Saeed Shah Ghulam Qutbuddin Chishti. He was the only son of Shari'ata. He was born in 1838. He became a murid, disciple of his father in the Chishti order. He lived wholly in the company of his father, and he gained all his education from his father. He completed all his spiritual courses of enlightenment from his father as well, and became a successful spiritual leader of his time. It was a culture among the Pandas, a caste amongst Hindus who perform a type of worship for the peace of the soul of the dead, that a devotee gave them a horse or any animal to them after they perform the worship for the peace of their relative's soul. If the horse used to be naughty and disobedient, they used to bring it to Hazrat Qutbuddin. Qutbuddin used to take a small ride on it and the horse would become obedient. Once a horse that would not let anyone even touch his back was brought to him. Qutbuddin sat on the horse at one go and went for a ride. The horse tried vigorously to get to him, dashed on any wall, tree, or any solid surface, but all its attempts went in vain. Qutbuddin pushed his thighs slightly and the horse started gasping but kept on behaving badly. Qutbuddin at last got down, lifted the horse and thrashed him on the ground. This incident occurred near Gandhi Maidan. It was then known as Church Car Maidan Field. Oldham, the then district collector of Gaya, was sitting in his garden was shocked to see this happen and remarked, "Is he a man or a giant?" He lifted and thrashed the horse on the ground with his hands. Quote, "Many such unbelievable incidents occurred in the short span of his life. He dedicated his life in helping his father in spreading the mission of Muhammad. He died young at the age of 49 in 1887, and left behind a son, Saeed Shah Nizamuddin Chishti Monami. He was the only child of Shah Qutubuddin. He was born in 1860. He wanted to become the murid of his paternal grandfather, Ata, but Ata ordered him to become a murid of his father, and so he did. He had Khilafat, Ijazah, of all orders from both his father and grandfather. He was a great hakim and a versatile person. He learned in the company of his father and grandfather. Moreover, he gained education from teachers and scholars at Gaya and Bihar Sharif. He also attended Bankipur Engineering College at Patna and got a degree from there. Like his grandfather, he was well versed in all fields of education ranging from theology, history, fiqh, engineering, tib, medical science, tasawwuf and jurisprudence. He was the unparalleled leader of his time. Everyone from the district collector to the judge used to seek his advice on difficult matters. He was offered many political and administrative positions throughout his life, but he always refused, softly saying, "I'm a fakir, dervish. How can I accept these responsibilities?" Quote, he became the successor of Shah Ata after his death in 1889. After becoming the Sajjada Nashan, he went to the Dargah of Moinuddin Chishti at Ajmer to pay his homage before starting a new chapter of his life as the Sajjada Nashan of the ancestral Khankah, founded by Tajuddin Delvi, the Murid and Khalifa of Moinuddin Chishti. Once during this visit he told his companions to leave him alone as he was not feeling well. Everyone went and he was left alone in the room. Suddenly everyone noticed a fire on the roof and in the room. Everyone rushed to see Nizamuddin and found him as he was when they had left. They went away puzzled. Again they saw the same scenario and realized that there was an illuminated chain of blaze-like light from the tomb of Moinuddin Chishti to the room of the Hazrat. The scenario remained the same for the whole night. Even afterwards he had great spiritual connections with Gharib Nawaz and Sufis like Ghaus Pak and Makdum Jahan. His physical strengths were also reported to be no less than those of his father. He was also a great educator. He founded the first ever Islamic study center in the entire Bihar with the name Darshan-e-Nizami on the name of great Sufi Nizamuddin Auliya in 1901. It was larger than a traditional madrasa and the center of all educational activities around Gaya and the Magadha region. Subjects excluding Islamic studies were also taught there. This institution had many ups and downs but is still present and is now known as Al-Jamiatul Ata. He lived for 44 years and died in 1904. His first marriage was to the daughter of Shah Inayat Ali Maududi, a descendant of Maudud Chishti, and he had a son named Saeed Shah Husainuddin Safi who became his successor. His second marriage was to the daughter of Akbar Danapuri, a great Abulolai Sufi, and had 3 more sons: Hafiz Hakim Saeed Shah Qayumuddin, Saeed Shah Hessimuddin Chishti and Saeed Shah Hussain Chishti, as well as 1 daughter. 2 of his sons, Shah Qayumuddin and Shah Hussain, died young and before they could be married. His daughter also died without bearing any sons to carry on his lineage. He was buried in his ancestral home at Danapur, Patna, near the grave of his ancestors Saeed ul-Wazileen and Saeed ul-Majzubin. Shah Husainuddin Safi. He was known as Saeed Shah Husainuddin Safi Chishti. He was the eldest son of Shah Nizamuddin Chishti. He was born in 1303 of the Islamic calendar. His initial education was completed in his maternal home at Sheikhpura. He learnt Persian from Maulvi Fasahat Hussain and Arabic from Sayyid Muhammad Ismail and Sayyid Abdullah Bazadpuri. He went on to complete his studies from Darsha Nizamiya founded by his father. He became a murid of his father in the Chishti order and got the Khilafat Ijazah of all the orders from his father. His spiritual teachings were initiated by his father. Since his father died when he was very young, he got a wasiat, a state in Tasawwuf in which one can meet the soul of a Sufi master just as the master was alive, and learn spiritual lessons directly from the master, from Shari'ata, and this is how his spiritual teachings were completed. He became the Sajjada Nashan of the ancestral Khankar in 1904. The Khankar achieved its highest peak during his reign on the Sajjada. Everyone used to call him the exact copy of Shari'ata in every way. He took the charge of Darshna Nizamiya founded by his father. After his father's death, apart from the traditional methods of the Khankar of preaching, he instead opted for many modern methods of teaching. Halqa Abulolai. It was an organization for all Muslim brethren. A program that was organized on the 17th of every Islamic month. Speeches of different ulama and Sufi were organized in the campus of Khankar. This group also had the responsibility of the burial of anonymous dead bodies of Muslims. This group is still in existence and the present Sajjada Nashan of the Khankar is the chief of this organization. Matbu Monami. Print media has always been an important means to communicate with the masses, so he founded a publication house with the name of Matbu Monami for the publication of different manuscripts preserved in the ancestral library of the Khankar. This was the first publication house ever founded in Gaya. He published many books written by his ancestors, especially those written by Shari'ata and his disciples. He authored many books, including the biography of many great Islamic personalities like Jalaluddin Tabrizi and Makdum Munampak. He was the first to write the biography of Makdum Munampak and Shari'ata. He also wrote travelogues. He was the first to write the history of Zahidiyya order in Bihar. He has also worked over Tasawwuf to a great extent. He added much to the Islamic literature in Bihar into the literature of Monami order. Hesbul Fokra. In the early 19th century, Wahhabism had arrived in India and many groups had come up against Sunni Islam and especially against the Khankar of the time. Shah Hussain Safi founded a group of learned people and Islamic scholars who would fight against any type of anti-Sunni activities rising anywhere in Bihar. He brought all the scholars, masters, Sufis of all orders and other Khankars of Bihar together. This is why he is remembered as Wakil ul-Mashayikh, leader of all the masters, by his contemporaries. He died at the age of 55 in 1939, leaving behind a son and daughter. He had 3 marriages. He did not have any children from his first wife. After the death of his first wife he married again and had children, but they all died as infants. His second wife died soon after. His third marriage produced 2 children who have carried his lineage forward. His son, Amir al-Mashayikh Saeed Shah Ghulam-e Mustafa Ahmed Chishti, is the present Sajjada Nashan of the Khankar. He had thousands of disciples and Khalifa all over the Indian subcontinent who have carried his spiritual teachings forward. Shah Hussain Chishti, born in 1899. He was the 3rd son of Shah Nizamuddin Chishti. He gained education at Darzi Nizamiya on the campus of Khankar and from his eldest brother, Shah Hussain Safi. He became a disciple of his brother in the ancestral Chishti order. The master awarded him Khilafat Ijazah of all the orders after completing all his spiritual teachings himself. He was a great linguist and had thorough knowledge of Urdu, Persian, Arabic and English. He was serving as the chief librarian of the Jamia Millia Islamiyya when Shah Hussain Safi called him in 1938. and gave him all the responsibilities of the Khankah. He was a very immaculate and soft-spoken person. He left for Pakistan in 1958 after making his nephew, the son of Shah Hussain Safi, into the new Sarjada Nation of the Khankah. He had 2 marriages. He had 1 daughter from the first marriage, and 6 children, 1 son and 5 daughters from the second marriage. He died in 1992, at the age of 93, leaving behind thousands of disciples all over India and Pakistan, and was buried in Yasinabad graveyard, Azizabad, Karachi. Amir al-Mashek. He was born on 14 December 1936, which coincides with 29th of Ramzan 1355 of the Islamic calendar. Before his birth, the Khadim of the Dargah of the great Sufi of Chishti order, Naqutbe Alam Pandwi, Pandua, West Bengal. Hafiz Pir Muhammad Monami saw dreams where Shah Nurqutbe Alam Pandwe was saying, inform Shah Hussain Ahmed that he will be bestowed with a son. He should name him Ghulam-e Mustafa. And so, when Amir al-Mashek was born, he was named Ghulam-e Mustafa Ahmed. He has learned from various teachers and scholars all over Gaya and Patna. When Amir al-Mashek was only 2.5 years old, his father died. Before his death, Shah Hussain Safi put the ancestral cap of the Sarjada Nation on his head, and announced him as his successor and the heir of all his personal and ancestral belongings of the Khankah. Amir al-Mashek had a unique childhood. He was never seen playing games with his friends, or in any playground. He used to study his lessons at Zikr and read wazifa, recite the Quran. When Amir al-Mashek was a child, Shah Hussain Safi had made him and his disciple in the ancestral Chishti order and left the Khilafat Nama, certificate of Ijazah, for him. When Amir al-Mashek grew up, he accepted the oath on the hand of his paternal uncle, Shah Hussain Chishti, and was awarded the Khilafat. He was also told that, you are already a murid and have the khilafat from your father. It's now upon you. You can use either my khilafat or your father's. Amir al-Mashek, as a sign of respect, has always used the khilafat of his uncle, which also includes the name of his father. Amir al-Mashek served as the Sarjada Nation of the Khankah for 54 years. He died on 30 January 2012. Which coincides with 6th of Rabi'i 1433 Hijri. His funeral rites took place on the following day after the Namaz of Asr. His mausoleum is erected just adjacent to Shari'ata, as the place of tomb was revealed to the eldest grandson of Amir al-Mashek. He had thousands of disciples all over India, Pakistan, and the USA. And he also had many caliphs all over India. He was married to a descendant of Abdul Qadir Gilani, the eldest daughter of Hakim Abdul Rahim Qadri, Amjar Sharif, Aurangabad, Bihar. He had 3 sons, Faqre Alama al-Hajj Maulana Saeed Muhammad Sabahuddin Chishti, Saeed Ata Ahmed Fuzail, and Hafiz Saeed Ata Faisal. He also had 8 daughters. Each Sufi of Gaya has learned spiritual lessons from him. This is why he is known as Amir al-Mashek, the master of all masters. Sufis throughout the order felt extremely impressed by his spirituality after meeting him. His personality was unparalleled all over Bihar. Ulama and Sufi loved his company, and he loved to impart spiritual lessons to everyone. There have many converts to Islam at his hands. Even Warabi and Deobandi accept him as the true leader of the Muslim community. He is very soft-spoken and not any seeker of any particular thing, knowledge, spirituality, tranquility, or wealth. No one, even a child, returns empty-handed from his doors. His doors of the Khankah are still open for everyone, around the clock. Disciples It is believed that he had approximately of 60,000 disciples all over Asia. The number of caliphs is understood to be many hundreds. Many of his disciples went on to become very successful Sufi of their time. Though the list is very long, only a few are listed here. Razaki order. Since Shari'ata was given the title of Abdul Razak, his disciples and Sufis of his order proudly wrote themselves as Sufis of Razaki order. Thus the Razaki order came into existence. Famous disciples. One major reason for the loss of information regarding many of his caliphs was that it was lost during India's First War of Independence in 1857. The second cause was when the Wahhabi extremists formed Saudi Arabia and Sufis had to leave that region. Shari'ata's caliphs and their successors in the Middle East went out of touch and could not be traced after that. Much information regarding Sufis of the Razaki order was lost during the partition of India in 1947. So much less information regarding the disciples and Sufis of the order of Shari'ata is available. Some information has been recovered from the Book of Shari'ata, Kayfiyatul Arfin wa Nisbatul Ashekin, which was published twice, once during the life of the author and again in the life of his great-grandson, Shah Hussain Safi. Many other Sufis who are the successors of the disciples of Shari'ata have been tracked down since 1970 and have become an important source of information regarding the Razaki order and the history of Razaki order in different parts of Asia. Only the most famous Sufis are listed below, whose orders are still present by means of any living Sufi, and as long as their successors are still in touch with the successors of Shari'ata. Sayyid Shah Qazi Mazahir Imam He was the most loved disciple of Shari'ata. Initially he was hesitant to become a disciple of any Sufi master, though he wanted Shari'ata to be his master, as his father was also the disciple of Shari'ata. Shari'ata used to say that, "It seems that you are very hesitant to accept oaths, so I will have to take your oath forcefully." The words of Shari'ata became true. Qazi Mazahir was an immaculately beautiful person with a charismatic personality. He was once listening to Sema in the Manpur locality of Gaya district, and a man who was looking for a PIR after completion of all his studies came to him respectfully and requested him to make him his disciple. Qazi Mazahir said, "I am still not associated with any of the tariqah orders. How can I make you my murid?" Quote, Qazi Mazahir kept on repeating himself, but the stranger was very firm about his commitment. At last Hazrat Qazi Mazahir Imam went to Shari'ata to become his disciple. When he entered the Khanqah, Shari'ata was sitting on the sajada, waiting for him. Shari'ata had already taken out the shidra, the chain depicting the name of all the Sufis in the order, and signed the Khilafat Nama, a certificate giving permission to the disciple to propagate the order further, to be given to him. Once he became the murid of Shari'ata, he used to visit his master in the Khanqah every day on foot, covering a distance of 5 to 7 kilometers across mountain and rivers. Shari'ata died in 1889, but he kept visiting the shrine of his master until his last day on earth. He died in 1942 and was buried in the Abulolai locality of Gaya. His life is a perfect example for the disciples of all the Sufis. He never called the descendants of Shari'ata by their name, even when one of the great-grandsons of Shari'ata was his son-in-law. His disciples were innumerable and was present all over India. He founded his own Khanqah, which is famous. His Khanqah Mazahir and is still in existence. He had 3 sons: Qazi Maqbul Imam, Qazi Waris Imam, and Qazi Jalil Imam. All 3 of them went on to become great Sufis of their time. His youngest son died in 1992. The orders of his eldest and youngest son are no longer in existence. but the order of his second son and many of his caliph is still present. Saeed Shah Qazi Najm Imam Chishti Monami Razaki is the grandson of Qazi Maqbul Imam, the eldest son of Qazi Mazahir Imam and the present Sajjad Anashin of Kankar Mazahir, founded by Qazi Mazahir Imam. He has Khilafat Ijazah from Qazi Waris Imam, the second son of Qazi Mazahir Imam, and Emir al-Mashayikh, the successor and Sajjad Anashin of the Kankar of Shari'ata. In fact, he has taken thorough spiritual lessons from Emir al-Mashayikh and has become his murid disciple. Saeed Shah Nudrat Hussain Burdwani He was already the Sajjad Anashin of his ancestral Kankar established at Burdwan, West Bengal. His was ordered spiritually from his ancestors to go to Gaya and become the disciple of Shari'ata. He became his very obedient disciple and started living in the Kankar of Shari'ata. Meanwhile, he wrote the Malfuzat, sayings of a Sufi, of Shari'ata in 40 lessons and got it checked and signed by the master himself. After completing his suluk he went to Burdwan. After his death he was buried in his own Kankar at Burdwan, West Bengal. His son Zia-ul Hasan was a famous Sufi of his time. His Kankar and the order is still in existence. Saeed Shah Fazl-ur-Rahman Razaki is the grandson of Shah Zia-ul Hasan and the present Sajjada Nashin of the Kankar. Other notable Sufis Shari'ata had hundreds of khulafas all over Asia. This is a small list of notable Sufis who had Khilafat Ijazah from him. Saeed Shah Ahmed Hussain Chishti, Kankar Morjidia Chishtiya, Chota Sheikhpura, Nawada, Bihar. Saeed Shah Nazir Hussain A.K.A. Shah Damad Danapuri, Danapur, Bihar. Maulvi Faizullah A.K.A. Maulvi Moinuddin Faiz Baksh, Bihar Sharif, Bihar. Maulvi Saeed Shah Ali Raza, Bithor Sharif, a satellite town of Gaya, Gaya, Bihar. Saeed Drive, Wazir Ali, Gaya, Bihar. Buried in the southern part of Kankar. Maulana Saeed Fateh Sharif Uddin A.K.A. Mir Ashraf Ali Hussaini Gulshan Abadi, Nashik, Maharashtra. Muhammad Saeed Uddin Samas Walmakati Bata Dust, Mumbai, Maharashtra. Khwaja Ghulam Ghaus, Agra, Uttar Pradesh. Hakim Haji Muhammad Baksh, Khairabad, Uttar Pradesh. Haji Hafiz Maulvi Abba Saeed, Amathi, Sultanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Khwaja Muhammad Sadruddin, Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh. Sheikh Muhammad Yusuf, Baruch, Gujarat. Munshi Muhammad Ismail, Shahjahanbad, Delhi. Sheikh Fakir Muhammad, Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Sheikh Ud Dalal Maulana Saeed Muhammad ibn Saeed Abdurrahman Maghribi al-Galali, Medina, Saudi Arabia. This is an incomplete list. It only contains the name of one disciple per city. No Sufi who was the descendant of his son or daughter has been listed. See also Khwaja Wali Qurani, Sufism. Ata Hussain Fani, 1930. Kaifiyatul Arfin Nisbatul Shekin. Al-Maktabi Monamir. Ata Hussain Fani, 1883. Kanzul Ansab. The Syeds of Bihar. Matbur Haidari Safdari, Mumbai. Ata Hussain Fani, 1876. Masnavi Suri Haq. Matbur Navakashore, Lucknow. Sheikh Husanuddin, 1937. Tazkira-e Fani. The Life and Times of Shah Abdul Razak. Al-Maktaba-e Monamir. Saeed Muhammad Sabahuddin Monami, 2000. Zikri-Ata. The Precise Biography of Shari'ata. Maktaba-e Ataya. Dr. Ata Khurshid, 2004. Sofana Marie Hajj Saeed Ata Hussain Fani. Aligarh Muslim University. Research Unit. Ammu. Kamar Azam Hashmi. 1969. Bihar Mein Urdu Savani Nigari. Patna Printers. Actor or NV. 1971. Bihar Mein Urdu Nasikara Taka. Patna Book Trust. Ahmedullah Nadvi. 1974. Muslim Shure Bihar. Volume 4. Quote. Karanshi offsets.